I'm speaking with Raufeon Stots once again, who's coming off a stoppage win over Ryan Lilley in the main event of LFA 48 that went down earlier this month, September 7th. Thanks so much for doing this.
Oh, no problem, man. Excited.
Let's start with the fight. I talked to you leading up to it, and obviously it was a big opportunity for you, a main event on Access TV. You were confident heading in. How do you feel about your performance now in hindsight?
I felt really good about my performance. It's pretty much what we wanted to do. I just got to get my kind of get it going. I don't know, that first round, I was kind of I waited a little too long to get my attacks going. So.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see the entire fight. It's hard where I'm at to get Access TV. I saw the highlights
Oh,
though.
okay.
Saw the highlights. It looked like you put your wrestling in play. I know
Yeah.
Pat Miletich talked about your striking. There was one clip that
Yeah.
he made the comment that it looked like maybe you got rocked. I don't know if you saw the highlight.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I definitely did. So in the beginning, and that's what I was. He has not a unorthodox right hand, but his right hand comes really fast, right down the pipe, and he doesn't really load up when he throws. So that I was kind of engaged in that in the beginning, and that's what was taking me a little while to just kind of see where that right hand was going. But I was just waiting I was waiting too long for it, and he threw it, in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what I was waiting on, and I got caught with it, and I didn't just sit down, but I kind of like when you your knees buckle or whatever,
Yeah.
or somebody hits the back of your leg, like I kind of took a seat or whatever, but I didn't go all the way down, but like in the air or whatever, I took kind of a seat. But then I realized it kind of woke me up to say, hey man, I'm in a fight. He's gonna throw the right hand, so I just got to get to what I know will stop that, and what I know I got to get to, get to my angles, keep them guessing, keep them honest, and land my strikes when I can, and kind of implement the game plan.
Yeah, it just looked like you got maybe momentarily buckled, but your wrestling kicked right in. Later on
Yeah.
in the fight, then people who didn't see the fight or the highlights, ground and pound stoppage. In that third round, did you feel him fading? Did you think, hey, this is going to end up with a
Yeah,
finish?
actually, in the second round, even though in the first round I didn't really do a lot, coming out in the second round, I was like, oh man, you don't feel as strong as you did. But I mean, and a lot of everybody, pretty much fighters like that, they can. They think that, okay, I stop a takedown, and now his confidence is destroyed, which is the opposite for me. I don't know if it's because I'm hard headed, or it was kind of my mindset in wrestling. If you stop one takedown, I'm just gonna shoot 50 more until I get you down, or I'm just gonna figure out. I'll just up the level, which I'm able to do just because my level of wrestling. I'm able to advance to the next level, go to the next thing. Chain my stuff together off of my wrestling, because I know how you're gonna defend. If you do the right thing, I got the right counter, and it's just an ever going, ongoing thing. So
Yeah. When we talked before the fight, you're very cognizant of how crucial of an opportunity it was for you, and you certainly sounded really confident. I know you've been in big fights before,
yeah,
but in hindsight now, it's often I find it's easier for fighters to be maybe a little bit more open about pressure, or whether or not they felt pressure after the fact. Did you feel a lot of pressure heading to this? I mean, I know you'd already returned to the win column, so it wasn't in
yeah.
that kind of scenario, but this was a big opportunity for you. So did you feel a lot of pressure on your shoulders heading into this?
And you were exactly right. Like, once I got into the win column, like that's the fight before that,
Yeah.
there was I felt a little more pressure. Not, and it wasn't even. It's not like even like, because the fighter themselves, like, I'm confident in myself, but however weird it might sound, like, performing to other people's expectations, after you take a loss is what I just really wanted to get people's notes, or get people's mind off the notion that like, oh, I got knocked out, like that's all I'm gonna do, or so once I get to big opportunities, I kind of don't take advantage, or whatever. That last the fight before this, I just wanted to pretty much or keep people think, or letting people, or remind people how great or how good I am. So this fight was just more of the same. I'm just gonna keep going out there and dominating whoever I got to dominate. Pretty much letting everybody know that fight that I did lost was a fluke. I learned my lesson. So I mean, I'm kind of happy it happened because I'd rather it happen now than happen later on. I learned my lesson, so yeah. I wasn't really as nervous. I was kind of excited just because I hadn't fought in a while. I felt like I hadn't fought in like 7 months, So I was anxious to get back in there, put on a show.
Yeah, no doubt. And one thing I noticed after the fact too, most of the major outlets do cover LFA, but it did seem like there was a fair amount of coverage awarded to this, and I couldn't help but wonder if it was because you're on a lot of people's sort of prospect radars.
Yeah.
Did you notice that as well, and have you had more of an upswell?
And I think, and that's another thing too. Like when I hadn't fought for a while, so when I was fighting very often, so I was constant in everybody's minds. They kept seeing me like every couple months or whatever. Nobody's seen me for a while, just from fights falling through and having a baby and stuff like that. So I just had to remind people. And this kid, which I'm glad I fought this kid because he was, he just came out off a knockout win. He had knocked out his last 3 opponents. He was a good prospect, and I think people had eyes on him and was watching him. So that's why, and that's another reason I was anxious to take the fight because I need that. I need the eyes and I need the attention. For the fight, and it was a main event, so. And there wasn't a lot of coverage after it. LFA had a lot of shows this month. Their 50th anniversary or 50th show was coming up, so they had a lot of they had like shows back to back, like every weekend of September. So they had a show every week. So I pretty much was getting lost, or I was like 2 shows before the 50th show. Or no, it was a show before the 50th show. Yeah, I was on 49.
Yeah.
But they had fights back to back, so they were kind of rattling off. So I feel like I got kind of lost in there, with them promoting the next fight and them being done with this fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was LFA 48. But like I said, I actually saw that
48.
It was covered on a lot of the major sites. At least like you're in the headline, Raufeon Stots gets stoppage win, etc. So. I think.
Oh, you said it was covered.
Yeah, I did see a fair amount of coverage about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that begs the question then: what do you think is next? Like I said, you've been on that prospect watch of a lot of people for a long time. This is 2 fights in the back return.
Oh, great.
I was just going to say 2 fights back since the loss to Mowatt. So, what do you think? Have you had any calls from management?
I haven't got any calls yet. I know right now they saying the UFC roster is kind of stacked. I think they're going to do a release or a cut of some guys, and then they'll have some more room on the roster. As far as fighting for the LFA, I think I might, or hopefully I told them I want to fight right away. I've been trying to lobby to get in right away, and I think the next one they want me to fight is for the title or the LFA title. So my next fight will either be for the title or be for the UFC. I know I'm on a short list for the UFC. They talked to my managers and he's talked to people to say that like I'm on the short list. They just got a lot of people on the roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
And say it again.
I just said yeah. I don't think I asked you this before. Actually, are you someone that, let's say hypothetically, there's an injury at 145 in the UFC? They give you a call. Is that a fight you can take, or would you rather not?
Yeah, I'd rather not, but yeah. I'm open to take. I'm not a small 35er, so I'm open to take a fight. I'd rather not. I'd rather fight in my weight class. But if the opportunity arises, sometimes you got to get in where you fit in. So I'm not opposed to that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There's bantamweight is a stacked division, so.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
and they have all the contender series looking for the fight,
mm-hmm.
and they kind of got a lot of people on the roster. I feel like some of them shouldn't be there, but it is what it is. And
yeah, it can.
But yeah, they said I should be on like a short list, and if not, I'll fight for this LFA title, and that'll that's a lot of the champions go to the UFC, regardless. So.
And did you say when that might happen? I mean, you've got this fight out of the way early
So,
September. We're
well,
close.
I wanted to fight before the year was over. You
Okay.
know, I know they got me sitting at number 2, and they have a guy at number 1. I forget his name now. You know, so hopefully I can fight him. Maybe December or November, or one of the other top 5 guys, or if they got anybody else that they wanted to fight. But I was told that I could have had a title fight this fight for Robert or what is it, Ryan Lilley,
Mm-hmm.
but something got mixed up, or somebody didn't agree on something, or whatever. So it wasn't a title fight. But so the next one, and Lilley was told the same thing. The next one, he needed to get the shot or get the title shot, or get a UFC call or get the title shot.
Right. So have you started looking forward to 2019? I mean, I know you want to get the call to the UFC, but after having minimal amount of fights this year, how many would you like to get in for 2019 if possible?
Yeah, if I could in 2019, I would like to get in 3 or 4.
Right.
You know, and that's another reason I did sign with LFA, because they have a lot of shows going on, and they're branching out to different net or markets, you know, in the U.S. So they have a lot of shows going on, and they got a good formula for making money and being successful with their shows. So and one of my teammates actually fought Nate Gentleman. He just fought for the title. He fought, I think, what was it? I want to say 5 times in 14 months or
wow.
something like that. Something crazy. Like he had fought 4 times before I had a second fight or something.
Nice.
So, but yeah, so I would like to fight if I could 3 or 4 times within a year. Just because usually my fights I don't take a lot of damage. Even if I go 5 rounds, I don't really I don't need a lot of time off to heal the injuries that I have. So
right.
Why not go again? It's fun.
Yeah, and get that check as well when your guys are fighting at your level. I mean, there's not a lot of money even at the UFC levels unless you're sort of in that championship tier. So that's something I always wonder about fighters. It's got to be tough at times if you get an injury or a fight falls through when you're fighting on these shows. It's tough financially.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, sir.
Last question for you while I have you. You know, you're a teammate of Anthony Pettis out of Raufeon. He's got a big fight coming up with Tony Ferguson. What's your take on that? And do you feel like people are overlooking Anthony's chances against Tony, or do you not think that way because Tony's coming off this injury? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I feel like, the general public, which don't see his day-to-day, his day-to-day camps and how his camps have been going in the past, they don't, they don't got the inside scoop, so they don't know. Maybe they're overlooking him because of the fights he's had, but, this Anthony Pettis that fought Michael Chelsea,
yeah.
Yeah, that Anthony Pettis, the Anthony Pettis that is training now is a different, he's a different guy, and he's motivated, and he's the best I've seen since I've been here. I've only been here for 3 years, and I got here after he was champion, but he had lost his belt, and he was on his way back, So I wasn't here when he was like the star, the star of the UFC. But this is the best I've seen since as far as his motivation and his training and his kind of his mindset. This is the best I've seen him. So
nice.
I feel like a lot of people could be overlooking him, but they don't realize that Anthony Pettis is getting back to his roots and getting back to his, Showtime. So I'm excited. He's really unstoppable when he wants to be. So
yeah,
I'm definitely excited.
It's got the makings of a really interesting fight with Tony. I mean, stylistically, everything about it.
And the crazy thing about it is, he beats a guy like Tony. He's right back in there for in kind of contention.
For sure.
And in position to have one of the best, but not only paydays, but best comeback stories and fights of his life. So pretty great.
Well, Robin, again, congrats on the big win at LFA 48, and best of luck if it's a championship fight next with LFA or if it's a call up to the UFC.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.